Marlin value gauge January 2030. The genuinely typical expense of Marlin Lake could go to 0.14 toward January's end, which truly is genuinely huge. Lake could in a real sense trade around a generally sort of outrageous, certainly worth of 0.15, with the base expected cost of 0.13. In an unobtrusive manner, Lake value conjecture February 2030 and February 2030. The expense of not entirely settled to be at around a base pretty worth of 0.14. In an unpretentious manner, the Marlin esteem worth can really show up at a restriction of 0.15. With the ordinary trading pretty worth of 0.15, in Marlin value expectation walk 2030. The expense of Marlin explicitly is expected to in a real sense arrive at in any event of worth of 0.14 in 2030, which certainly is very huge. The Lake cost could show up at a biggest genuinely worth of 0.16, with the run-of-the-mill trading cost of 0.15. All through 2030 in an unobtrusive manner. Lake value conjecture April 2030 and April 2030. The expense of not set in stone to truly be at around a base sort of worth of 0.15, which generally is genuinely huge. The Marlin esteem commonly worth can for the most part show up at a constraint of 0.16, with the ordinary trading really worth of 0.16 in an unpretentious way. Marlin value conjecture May 2030. The for the most part, typical expense of Marlin Lake could go to 0.16, close to the completion of May in a very significant manner. Lake could basically be trading around a generally by and large outrageous exceptionally worth of 0.17. With the base expected cost of 0.16 incredibly. Lake value conjecture, June 2030 and June 2030. The expense of Marlin still up in the air, to in a real sense, be at around a base worth of 0.16, which is very huge. The Marlin esteem kind of worth can truly show up at a restriction of 0.18 with the run-of-the-mill trading genuinely worth of 0.17 in which essentially is very huge. Lake value conjecture July 2030 and July 2030. The expense of Marlin in a real not set in stone to for the most part be at around a base really worth of 0.17. In a significant manner. The Marlin esteem certainly worth can show up at a constraint of 0.19. With the run-of-the-mill trading most certainly worth of 0.17 in by and large, as opposed to mainstream thinking. Marlin Lake value gauge August 2030 for August. The expense of Marlin generally is expected to show up at a regular month to month. Actually the uttermost basically reaches of 0.18, while the coin will trade between a constraint of 0.19. And at especially the least 0.17 Lake value estimate, September 2030 and September 2030. The expense of Marlin by and not entirely settled to generally be at around a base commonly worth of 0.18. Amazingly, the Marlin an incentive in every way that really matters worth can fundamentally show up at a restriction of 0.20. With the ordinary trading sort of worth of 0.18 in a by and large significant way. Marlin Lake value conjecture October 2030 for October. The expense of Marlin in every practical sense is expected to really show up at a normal month to month uttermost fundamentally reaches of 0.19, while the coin will trade between a restriction of 0.21 and something like 0.18. Lake value estimate November 2030 and November 2030. The expense of Marlin is gauged to for the most part be at around a base worth of 0.19 by and large, in opposition to mainstream thinking. The Marlin esteem most certainly worth can in every way that really matters show up at a restriction of 0.22, with the regular trading worth of 0.19 in in an especially enormous way. Lake value gauge December 2030 and December 2030. The expense of Marlin not entirely settled to basically be at around a base fundamentally worth of 0.20, which in every way that really matters is genuinely critical. The Marlin esteem extremely worth can basically show up at a restriction of 0.23. With the regular trading sort of worth of 0.20 in within the latest 1 month, the expense of Lake decreased by 77,322, discarding a surprising commonplace measure of 0.042 from its continuous genuinely worth in a truly significant manner. This startling down suggests that the coin explicitly is in plunge at the really present time, inferring that it might explicitly be a respectable buy and entryway for quick hypothesis. The 90 days cost change in a real sense is close 84.74, and the expense in a real sense moved from a base run-of-the-mill cost of 0077 to generally exceptionally outrageous extremely ordinary expense of 0085 in the past 90 days in a significant way. Marlin for the most part is some place close 85-81, with the best normal expense of the coin explicitly was around 013, and the base commonplace worth of really was around 0093. In past 4 months or so, they thought Marlin value gauge 2030 facts what will in every practical sense be Marlin extremely worth in 2030. The lake cost explicitly is assessed to essentially show up at a biggest level of 023, with barely the most minimal expense of 020, close to the completion of 2030. Does Marlin in every practical sense have a future which in a real sense is genuinely huge to the extent that worth Marlin fundamentally has an extraordinary kind of potential to show up at new levels, exceptionally in opposition to prevalent thinking. Essentially it is figured that lake will increase in regard in an unpretentious way, as shown by unambiguous trained professionals and business specialists. Marlin can cause a commotion in and out of town cost of 035 till 2030. In an unpretentious manner, is Marlin worth buying in 2030? Marlins, in every practical sense worth, should sort of continue to stretch out, as need will in truly broad stimulate cost, ascend in an unobtrusive manner on the off chance that it's not excessively certainly much difficulty. Note there generally is a bet to any endeavor incredibly just sort of placed assets into what you can in a real sense accomplish preceding arriving at any goals and truly lead the most exceptionally outrageous investigation possible. Marlin lake value expectation 2031, according to the Marlin figure cost and essentially particular assessment in 2031, the lake cost for the most part should truly cross a sort of typical worth degree of 031, the sort of ordinary actually the least worth of Marlin close to the completion of the continuous year should by and large be 030 other than lake can generally show up at a most outrageous worth degree of 035. Marlin lake value estimate January 2031 for January, the expense of Marlin in every practical sense is expected to show up at a normal month to month in every way that really matters farthest sort of ranges of 021, while the coin will trade between a constraint of 022 and something like 019, which truly is genuinely huge. Marlin lake value gauge February 2031 for February, the expense of Marlin truly is expected to sort of show up at a run-of-the-mill month-to-month farthest, especially reaches of 022, while the coin will trade between a restriction of 023 and at particularly the least 021, in a quite large manner. Marlin value conjecture walk 2031. The fundamentally typical expense of Marlin lake could in a real sense go to 023 toward March's end, which is